Okay, in this video I want to be covering a little bit how to replace the clutch and the transmission. I was doing an engine replacement and I wanted to just put together a short video on this clutch replacement that I did. So I hope you enjoy it. Okay, we're going to start getting this off here. Now, when you get a used engine, you can just plan on having to swap a lot of stuff over. And like I always say, you know, you could spend a day because it's unlikely that there'll be anything good left. It gets damaged in the shipping, and just you're just going to have to do a lot of swapping. Anyways, we're going to get these 12 millimeters out here so we can get our flywheel off. Okay, let me give me something to kind of help pry this off here. Wanting to stick on those pins. You see condition of this. All right, what we're going to use is a 12-sided 14 millimeter here. Because this engine's locked up, I don't have to worry about holding the crank. I've got them kind of broke loose a little bit. All right, this is going to be kind of heavy. All right, wipe this thing up a little bit. We're going to blow this out with some air. Okay, and another thing you want to do on these engines, take you a flat file and go around this whole surface here. Make sure there's no burrs or dings sticking up. And so we're going to go ahead. So we make sure this is clean. I'm going to go ahead and get this set on here. Get our holes lined up. So if you don't have the manual, you'll just, you know, have the flex plate to swap over. But we're going to put some medium Loctite on each of these. So let's go through and get them all Loctited. So you absolutely want to thread these down by hand before you go to taking off with them. Okay, I've just got them run down here. Okay, so I've got a 22 millimeter and a breaker bar just holding the crank still here, and I'm going to do this in a couple of phases. We're going to go through the first pass, and I'm going to go 25. And you want to kind of go in some sort of star pattern. So we're just going to make sure we got them all to 25. Okay, I'm going to go to 55 for the final torque here. So we'll just go around and let's kind of go around and double check them. Okay, so here is our new clutch kit. And it says to lightly grease these splines. Make sure to wipe off any excess. There's our pressure plate. And we've got our bearing that goes in our transmission. We'll deal with that in just a minute. So this is our bearing that we got to replace. Supposed to lightly grease this, and same thing, wipe off any excess. And here's the alignment tool. It's important that you just finger tighten those to get this aligned properly. So I'm going to just grease the splines on the transmission side. I'm not putting any grease in here yet. We're just going to basically get our little alignment tool. Get this in place here. Feed it right into the hole that it goes into. And that centers that up. And then we're just going to get our clutch on its alignment pegs here. So you only have 3 alignment pegs. One here, here, and here. I'm going to show you the back side of this. So they said that sometimes you have to remove these alignment pegs if it doesn't want to go into place. I put a little light dab of grease on them. Okay, so I gave it a tap and it went on there. Now you also have to put it back where it was. So in other words, you can see the little clean marks where it was bolted before. So we had to make sure that we have our bolt holes all in alignment when we put it on there. So at first I had it in the wrong position, so I had to rotate a little bit there, but you can see it doesn't really matter exactly what orientation. You just have to make sure your holes line up when you get it on to your locating pegs there, and it went. It's just a nice snug fit. I tapped it with my hand so it's enough to keep it there. Most of you will have a torque converter and you'll just have to worry about dealing with that. But if you got the manual, you definitely want to take the time to replace Alright, so there, got 6 of them. Alright, so I'm just going to snug those down a little bit. Make sure we got this centered. We're just going to tighten these evenly. So when you get it tightened down, you should be able to easily slide this in and out. It should stay centered up. If not, you'll have to unloosen it and redo it. So once it's clamped down, it's tight. Okay, so I'm still holding the crank. I'm going to go through and torque these to 20 foot-pounds. Again, anything like this, just try to, do like a star pattern or something so it's even. And then just go around, double check it. So we're all finished up with this part. We'll get on the transmission part. Alright, so here's our new throwout bearing. And you want to clean this area up best you can. Alright, so I just pried that out of there. So I'm just going to get some light. I'm going to clean this up, get some light grease here and here, just really light, and on these surfaces. So I'm just going to slip this back down underneath this fork here. Pull it up a little bit more. Okay, so if you pull the fork up far enough, you can easily get it on. You just want those hooked right underneath that fork there. So the tabs that you see, they just go right under the fork. Just kind of holds it in place or guides it. So when you apply pressure, so I didn't remove the fork. Now if you needed to, you could if you had to replace it. I did put a light bit of grease around this surface here and the splines. Okay, now we've got our bolts ready. Over here we're ready to go ahead and get it in place, and we've got a little light dab of grease on our locating dowels there as well. So if everything's lined up, we should be able to lift it up here. We'll guide it into place and get it on our locating pegs, and so we got to get it here and there. So we're just going to try to get it close, and then we can usually guide it, lift it a little bit on the back end or whatever we need to do to kind of guide it into place. Okay, I did have to readjust my chain where I've had this kind of straight and level with the bolt holes up there. I was a little bit tilted too far that way. Alright, so I'm guiding it in here to the locating pegs, and I'm just going to lower the back as I need to on my lift here, and I should go right into place. Right, so once we get it slid up there, it's just a matter of snugging up our bolts that we got where our alignment pegs were and getting in all the rest of the bolts here. And we're going to put Loctite on these. So as you can see, not too bad of a job. I will leave a link to the video on this engine removal, transmission removal, and so you can look at that. And but I hope you found the video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. As always, I invite you to subscribe, and thanks for watching.